Okay. We don't need that, but we'll go live and we'll see what happens. See if anyone wants to chat. Tasmania has got their full allocation. So let's see what...
So ChatGPT was asked
how to live to 140. Become a robot, I suppose. Let's find out what's going on. Make sure we've got sound working. And people are joining. Thunderbolt's joined. How you going? And okay, we're good. We're good. So look, got the email this morning from Tasmania. They're open with their full allocation. The allocation's not real flash because, hang on, I may as well leave it like that. The allocation's not real flash because they've lost half their allocation. It's gone from 2,100 last year to 1,200, and the 491 allocation has gone from 760 to 650, so that's dropped 15% as well. Overall, they used to have 2,860 spots, and now they've got 1,950. So they've almost lost 1,000 places. So like I was expecting a 30% drop. Apparently, Western Australia has dropped by 30%. But yet to be announced. But we'll just have to wait and see. So, and this is sort of following on from what I was saying yesterday, where apparently the government has said to the states, look, we want you to do state dharmas, and they want to bring people. Firstly, they're going to on a speeding basis, like in terms of getting them up and running. And then that way the states will still be able to say, well, we want these occupations and things like that, but the applicants will basically need to be onshore. It's no good if you're an offshore applicant because you're going to need to have a job to get on a Dharma agreement and they're going to wind this the 190 program right back. You can see it. And they've really, and when I say right back, I mean to nothing. I think they're going to get rid of the 190s and the 491s, and they're going to and they're going to move to state-based Dharma agreements where people are going to have job offers in order to make an application. So I think looking forward to the next 12 months, I think that's what's going to happen. Ali, why are Chef 482s taking so long to approve? I don't look. They obviously don't have enough staff, right? They don't have enough staff, and and the forecasting is terrible, or it's just rigged, right? I think the forecast for a 482 is 40 or 50,000 a year, and we're getting like 80 or 90,000 applications. Like the new Skills in Demand program hasn't even been out for 12 months, right? It came out on the 4th or 5th of December last year, and they said core skills be processed within a month, and 7 days for the specialist skills. I don't think they've ever hit a month for the 50% figure for the Skills in Demand. How many more Indians will arrive in Australia in 2026? I don't know. So, well, we're going to get the working holiday visa ones. I think there's 3,000 in that. We're going to get students, which is about 20% of the student intake. So that's about 80,000 plus partners. So maybe 120,000. Yeah, so we're going to get a few. But we're going to get a few Chinese as well. We're going to get a few of everyone. India's the second highest. China's still the highest. look, the major difference, it's not actually the people coming in, it's the people leaving, right? And if you look at how many Chinese, for instance, are making applications for protection versus how many Indians are making applications for protection, and the Indians are swamping the ART and the appeals courts because they just don't want to go home. So the problem's not the people coming. The minister was I think he was on the ABC, whatever their talk back these things on Sunday. He was saying the big problem that they've got is they can't get people out of the country. The people coming into the country are pretty much back to pre-COVID levels. So they say. I don't think so, but they're certainly coming down and normalising. But there's two, drive Ubers and shit like that. And there are people on 485 visas who just aren't working in their field. So they don't have to, but I mean, there's no reason for them to be here if they're not working in their field. So that you're going to see changes there as well. But they'll affect everyone. They won't just affect Indians, of course. Yes. So Steve, any chance 190 processing times will drop? Well, there's none. There's absolutely none, right? The 189s are given priority over the 190s. There's a ministerial direction about processing times for general skills migration, and they were processing the 190s and the 491s after August. They did the first round this year for the 189, so they'll only be processing 189s. They'll finish off the 190s that are already open in front of a case officer, but all the rest will just sit in the queue. And this is another reason why the 190s just not a good visa, because the processing time's 2 years, right? So, if you're onshore, you're stuck on a bridging visa for 2 years, which is a pain in the ass if you want to leave the country and go on a holiday or something. It's a pain in the ass if you're trying to, buy a house or change your jobs or whatever. You're only on a bridging visa. And as I was saying earlier, they're probably going to move everyone to all the states to state-based DARMAs like Western Australia, Northern Territory and South Australia, and the processing time for that's faster, but you do need an employer, so you need a job offer. So that's where the government's heading, but processing times are only going to get worse for 190s and 491s. Pretty much processing times are going to get bad for everyone because the government is just not staffing the department for the number of applications we're getting, and they're basically trying to put soft caps on uncapped programs like employer nomination and 482 work visas and spouse visas, right? They only plan for us to do 40,000 spouse visas or 42,000 or something like that. And we've got 95,000 outstanding. So even if we got 40,000 this year, it's going to take us 2 years to get through the 95,000 that haven't been processed yet. It's not just affecting one program, it's the whole thing. And the government has realised that they've got a housing problem, and I don't think they've admitted that they don't have a solution for it. But so they have put the brakes on processing, and there's a lot more processing going on. But they've got no solution to the problem. So yeah, there you go. No worries, Ali. Eagles, I can't see. I've got this message coming up saying 2 new messages. I'll get back to you. There it is. If I'm on appeal for subclass 500 and had a bridging visa B, can I return to Australia having cancelled my COE? Well, why do you want to come back? If you've cancelled your COE, you can't win your appeal. Are you coming back to just move out of your house? I mean, look, you can come back. You've got a bridging visa until your appeal's on. So, but I question what your motivation is for doing that. I question what your motivation is for cancelling your COE, unless they cancelled it. So, you didn't attend or whatever, you're not going to win your appeal. You can't win an appeal unless you've got a valid COE. So, hi Doris, how are you? Cheeky the truck driver, go to my website, www.aussievisamate.app. It's there on the screen. and there's a link to register information for truck drivers. Chuki sent 5 roses. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Roses are good. Sharing is good. Commenting, direct messaging, it's all good. Ramzan, I'm an external auditor working as a senior auditor in Melbourne. What are the chances on 65 points? I would say none. But we'll have a quick look. Let's look at Aussie Visa Mate. Is it there? It's not there. Let me set it up. Let me set it up. There we go. Okay. Aussie Visa Mate. It's a website. You can go there. If you subscribe, you can get access to this information. External auditor, state nomination. So the state nominations, there's 1,600 external auditors. And if you look at the bottom, the score distribution, we say you need, well, firstly, New South Wales didn't take any last year, so I think you've got no chance in any event. But 95 points is what you'd need. There's 5,200 applicants in total and only 125 offers recently. So you need 95 points, and you need to be at the top end of 95 points. So that's your situation for external auditors. If you're employed, you need to be sponsored. Vivek Baral. Are you saying I can't change a job on a bridging visa? No, I'm not saying you can't change jobs. I'm just saying employers don't want people on bridging visas, do they? Because they don't know if they're going to get their visa. If you're on a 190, you can say, oh, well, I've made a 190 application, but who knows if you're going to get it, right? Who knows when you're going to get it, right? So there's no certainty about you're on a you're not even on a temporary visa. You're not on a substantive visa at all. You might find an employer says, oh, well, I don't care, right? Maybe, but there's plenty of people here saying, oh, you know, employers don't want me on a student visa or on a working holiday visa. It's more difficult if you're on a bridging visa. It doesn't give you much certainty. It's not a good option for you, is what I'm saying. Harry, will they do motor mechanic invite in the 13 November invite? Any expectation? If they announce the 13th of November invite, is that for a state or is that the federal one? I'm expecting sometime in November that the 189 one will be done, but I don't I don't know. They're going to do, like, I don't know. They've only got 1,200 spots. They could do 50 a week and they'll be through them in 6 months. It's not very good. Hi, sir. Can workers apply for training visa 407? Well, as long as you're getting trained, I use the example of as a chef, right? You could be a qualified chef, but if Gordon Ramsay comes in and he says, you know, I'm opening a restaurant and I need to train some chefs, he could put qualified chefs on training visas and say, well, they need to learn about my, you know, French cooking styles or how to make the famous Ramsay, what is it? Beef Wellington, right? Which I've made once before. The recipe's online. I don't get paid for it. Check it out. So it depends. You've got to show that you don't have the skills necessary and you're going to be trained and learn something, right? So like people who've got degrees and are qualified, they're still going to study masters, right? It might be you're going to go and work for an AI company, right? And you need to get AI training or learn how to prompt or something like that. You learn how to use Cursor, things like that. So it just depends. There's no restriction, but you got to demonstrate that you're training someone. Where are we up to? Shifty's waiting for the 13th. Desi applied for a partner visa and have a child, still waiting is at normal, 4th April 2024. No, you've got a compassionate reason because you've got a child. I assume the child is an Australian citizen. Have you told the department that you've got a child? Have you applied for priority processing because you've got a child? April, so what are we up to now? It's about 19 months. So if you've got a compassionate reason, you need a compelling reason. You would have had a compelling reason when you were started earlier. Look, I don't know anything about your case, but if you've got a child, you're going to get your visa, but you should be getting it quicker. It shouldn't take that long. I've got a case at the moment. They've got priority processing. It's still, and they haven't even responded to me. So, and it's at the Thai embassy. I'm pretty close to driving up to Bangkok and knocking on the door and saying what's going on. Yes, I'm from Ghana. I'm a nurse and I need sponsorship. Look, I think if you're offshore, you're really going to struggle to, really struggle to get work. You're much better if you're a nurse. You need to be registered in Australia to work in Australia. So, have you got your nurse's registration? If you've got your registration, then try and get to Australia. If you don't have the registration, apply for a student visa and get here. And then you can. The other things you can look at are the aged care jobs, and I've got some of those listed on Aussie Visa Mate. We're opening up a recruitment arm for aged care, so that'll include personal carers, aged care workers, and assistants in nursing. So a lot of overseas nurses who can't get registered here come here and do a lesser job, and then they get their registration. They do further study to get them up to date to Australia standards, whatever that is. I'm sure you're still a very capable nurse, and there's sort of certainly plenty of African nurses in the system over here, but they make everyone go through the ringer because it's a union, and they're trying to keep the prices and keep scarcity going on and all that kind of stuff. Bra girl, how much time Doha taking for priority visa grant? I lodged an EN 190 in June. Haven't heard back. 190s is not a priority. It might be a priority in the 190 stream, but all the 189s take priority over a 190. I think you'd be lucky if it's less than 18 months. So, yeah. How about, hopefully you're in Australia, you're working, all that kind of stuff. How about a software engineer with employment in New South Wales? Well, you said the magic word, employment. So get sponsored by your employer on a 482 visa. That's what you need to do. Look, all of the states, apparently there was a blanket 30% cut except for Queensland, 45%. Teachers, medicos, nurses, and construction people. That's basically what you can expect. There might be some other things here and there on the fringes and stuff like that. They'll be people who have studied in the state and have lived in the state for a long period of time, showed allegiance to the state, and they're trying to help them out. But if you've got an employer, 482, and if they won't give it to you, you need a new employer. So I don't offer sponsorship, although in the new year we're looking for an accountant. So, so if you're an accountant, you might be able to do a sponsorship deal. So there you go. Nitesh, 80 points for a 189 ECT. Should I move to Tasmania? No, Nitesh. Every month, 400 new ECT people are joining the queue. 4 months ago, it's 5,800. Now, let's have a look. Now, early childhood, 9,000, hang on. There we go. 7,900 applicants. There's 400 people graduating every month and joining the queue. You need a job, right? 80 points, the cutoff, we say is 85. Last year there was 503 offers and there's 691 people on 85. You're not going to get an offer at 80 points. It's even worse at the state level because they make fewer offers, and what you'll find is that they make fewer offers, so the minimum points is higher for states than it is for general skills. And so what that means is that it won't actually be 90, it'll still be 85. So even though you're getting 5 points from the state, you'll still need to have 85 points to get those 5 points because they're only taking a trickle of people, right? So you need a job. In early childhood, you need a job, there's no doubt about it, right? And then you need the employer to sponsor you. So Oh, they announced 13th of November on the home. Harry, thank you very much. I was on the page today, but I didn't see that. I was checking whether, because the Tasmanian state migration came out, and I went to see if the other states had made announcements and whether or not whether or not the full allocations had been announced, but they're yet to do that. And obviously, if they're making a change today, they haven't done it. But anyway, November 13, that's what, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday next week. Everyone will be on bated breath. Update your EOIs, make sure they're in. It's always good to go live. You get feedback from people. It's good. Ken, 90 points as an accountant general. Any chance? No. 110. Well, you don't have nominated, but you haven't been nominated. It's sort of like saying, well, I'll have 5 points next year because my age is going up, right? Or I'm going to get an extra year's work experience, right? You've only got the points that you've got. And now, because there's so few places in the 189 and in the 190 and the 491, the cutoffs are actually, or the indicative cutoffs are actually higher than the 189 applications. They're taking, maybe they take 600 people for a 189, but then they take 200 for a 190, right? So they're really they're just extending the 189 people by a couple, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people in the system, and we're only taking 20,000, 25,000 people, right? So it's not good. If you're an accountant, you definitely, and like, I don't know, the state, Western Australia, well, we'll have a quick look. I don't mind having a look. You can get this on Aussie Visa, mate. I'm typing in Aussie accountant, okay. 491. So there's 12,800 applicants and 1,000 offers last year. So 1 in 12, you've got an 8% chance. Western Australia, look, there's 4,300 applicants and they made 55 offers, right? So, you know, you got no chance. The cutoff we say is 100, but I'm assuming you're giving yourself an extra 15 points for the state sponsorship to say you got 110. If you're on 95, I think you got no chance. So, sorry with the bearer of bad news. If you have a job, you have a 100% chance of being sponsored. Well, as long as, there's caveats for accounting, so maybe not 100%. But if you meet the caveats, you've got a 100% chance. So, a 10, I'm from Fiji, but currently residing in New Zealand. I'm here on a work visa as a truck driver, I assume. I'm from, okay. Well, if you look, to be a truck driver in Australia, you need 3 things. You need an English test, you need a skills assessment, and you need a driver's license. So to get a driver's license, you need to be in Australia. And once you've got those 3 things where you can look for work because you'll be employable, and then you need a sponsor. The sponsor needs to be in a Dharma region, so head to Perth basically. But anywhere in Western Australia, anywhere in the Northern Territory, I think regional South Australia, not Adelaide. And there's some other like regional country areas and things like that. But you need to get to Australia and you need to have an Australian driver's license, right? No employer is going to be interested in someone who's overseas who can drive a truck who doesn't have an Australian license. So if you've got a sabbatical and you can get here for a month, it'll take 1 to 3 weeks to get your driver's license. If you've got a New Zealand license, there might be a reciprocal agreement for Kiwis because of the Trans-Tasman agreement. You'd have to look into that with the state bodies. Do I take on refused visitors visa? Candidate has never breached. Do all these. It's just not worth it, right? You've got to spend $3,500 to lodge an appeal, and the appeal's going to take 2 years to get a hearing date. The people who do appeal, the overturn rate is like 75%. It's really, really high. So you're not really at risk of it not being granted, but you've got to wait 2 years. That's the problem. And the embassies know this, right? That they know that the appeal times are so long, and they just they're laws unto themselves what they do at the embassies. So They're offshore. They're, you know, tourist applicants don't have appeal and things like that. So yeah, I just don't. I don't recommend. Like if you want to see your partner, spend the $3,200 and fly over there and spend 3 months with them, or whoever it might be, right? So, how can I apply for a working visa in Australia? Pravin, you need an employer, right? You need an employer. You need an occupation on the core skills occupation list or the CSOL, and yeah, basic English requirements and minimum salary requirements and things like that. Yeah. Is there an Android version for Aussie Visa Mate app? What time zone are you in? I'm in the Bangkok time zone. I think it's +7. So it's 11 a.m. here. I think it's 3 p.m. in Sydney. And there is an Android version for Aussie Visa Mate. You go to the website, aussievisamate.app, and I can show you right here, and then there's a little download the apps. The Apple one takes you to the App Store, and the Android one, it'll say you're about to download something dangerous or something like that. I don't know. And you can download that. It's just a packaged version of the website, but yeah, it looks exactly the same, but you'll have a little icon access. All those people have been telling me for ages I want an Android version, and there it is. So you've got one. Navasha, been a while. It has. I've been working on Aussie Visa Mate and updating, getting the website going and the Android version and things like that. So there you go. How about civil drafts person? 1-5. Oh God. How about civil drafts persons? Let's have a look at civil drafts people. I've actually got to lodge a visa application, so I can't. I wasn't planning on being here for a while or a long time. Just announcing the Tasmanian situation. 189, 5,300 applicants, 80 points for a civil engineering drafts person for a 189. So there you go. ICT managers in ICT project manager, I'll assume, in the ACT. Made no offers last year, so I don't think you've got much chance, but there's 337 applicants and the cutoff was 95. You must be one of these people up on 115 points. But if they don't make offers, doesn't matter how many points you've got, you need a job. If you've got a job, you probably got a job, but you're with a state, with a federal government department. But yes. Motor mechanic chances for the 189 round. Motor mechanics. People, you should be downloading my app. Oh, that's a diesel mechanic. Motor mechanic for the 189. For the round in 6 days' time, there's 3,200 applicants and there have been no offers for the last 3 offer rounds for motor mechanics. I don't think you're going to get an offer. But if you did, you'd need 85 points. On the state basis, you'd still need 85 points, 4,200 applicants. Look, if you're a motor mechanic, get a job because motor mechanics are in massive demand. So, yeah, it should be good. Hang on. That's better. Okay. We got people spamming the channel. It's no good. Can we apply for PR before 2 years after 1 year on a 482 4 years? Navasha, you can't do it through the temporary residence transition scheme, but you can do it as direct entry. So if you have a skills assessment and you've got a total direct entry under the 2 years, hope that's clear. So there's 2 streams, right? There's direct, where you don't need a 482 at all. You just need 3 years experience and a skills assessment. You can do that one if you qualify. But on the transition, you need to have 2 years on a 482 before you're eligible. Any chance community workers? I don't think so for community workers. Jazz R sent a rose. Thank you very much. Gifts are always good. Helps bump up the channel. I don't make no money out of them at all, but it's good to support the channel. Well, if you had 3 months left, I assume you made another visa application. And if you made another visa application, then you'll be on a bridging visa. And that bridging visa time will count towards your 2 years because you're already on a 482. So, yes. Jazzpreet, can I apply 190 while waiting for 491 grant as you can apply. You can apply. So, yeah. If you've got a job as a motor mechanic, 482 would be better than 491. You could be waiting for forever. You could be waiting forever. So, okay. Okay, well, that's it. I'm going to wrap things up because I've been on for an hour. Yeah, I'll be back on tonight. So I just came on because I recorded something and there's no sound. So I was like, oh, bugger this, I'm not going to re-record it. I'll just go on live and do that. So, okay, everyone, thanks for joining in. And if you've got any questions, you can